All right, here we go. You just saw a little brief demonstration of what this Sunjoe 24 volt 8-inch Oregon pole saw can do. I'm not sure what kind of trees these are, but they used to be really bushy, like to the point where you couldn't even hardly get through the gate. I've trimmed them down a good bit, probably more than I should have, but you know, it is what it is. We had a real strong thing of thunderstorms come through last weekend, and this almost ruined this tree. So I just wanted to cut some of the weight off of this side of it and see if I can. I've got some straps. I'm going to drive one more in the ground and try to pull it over a little bit more using this limb back here. Hopefully we'll be able to save it. If not, I'll have to dig this one up and dig that one up and put something else here. But anyway, I got this kit. It came with a blower, a hedge trimmer, and of course this pole saw. I haven't ever had any issues with it. Like I said, I've cut all this stuff down. You see how big this log is here. And it took a little while to get it, but it got it. Like I said, you know, perfect for these type size branches. You know, for limbs, obviously, you know, you're not going to cut the trunks of trees down. But you got this, you got that. And you come over here, it got all of these, no problem. No problem at all. Like I said, it's a 24 volt system. You know, obviously if you go to somewhere like Harbor Freight, you know, and you're either get the Atlas or the Lynx 40 volt, you're probably gonna have a little bit more performance. And I believe those might have a 10-inch bar instead of an 8-inch bar, but I'm not 100% certain. Again, this is probably gonna be, I haven't used the DeWalt pole saw, but I imagine this will probably be in the same ballpark. I haven't used the Milwaukee pole saw, but for the platform and comparing it to everything else, you know, it's right there at the top. It's actually what I really like is the Milwaukee pole saw. But like I said, this for what I'm using this for right now, it works great. The battery, I was able to cut all these down, and I think I was down to 2 bars. I don't know if you're familiar with these battery packs, but you know, it's got this little push button here, and instead of, you know, plugging in to something like a lot of these the similar shaped packs, these slider packs do, it actually plugs in at the top, which is weird. Not sure why they went with that way, that platform, but it is what it is. And here you've got your trigger, your safety switch. Obviously you push the switch up, pull the trigger, you got power. This is I want to say this is a 2 amp hour battery pack also. They make, I think, up to a 4 or 5. Again, I'm not 100% sure. Also, one feature that I like about this, it's self-oiling. So you don't have to add oil each time you use it, or periodically throughout the use. You just fill this thing up, and some of this has actually leaked out over time, being in the garage. But I've been able to cut all this stuff down, and you know, still got about a 1/4 tank left of the bar lube. This is the, sorry if I don't have a tripod yet. You flip this little switch up right here, and it extends. You get 8 feet of pole saw to do with. And I really like this. I really like this system because it's not as flimsy when you reach it all the way up to the top. I know some of the ones like Cobalt tend to get a little wobbly the higher up you get. So I like that. You can also, if this starts to come loose on you, you can tighten this up with a little Allen screw right there. That way it'll keep it tight. This is how you change out your attachments. You just pop this up, pop these tabs open on both sides, pull this off, and then you can swap another one on, the blower or the hedge trimmer. It's got a pivoting head, which is nice, just one way. The other attachments, like I said, the blower is really all that's good for is just some light grass clippings on the sidewalk. Not really for any leaf work at all. Maybe for blowing off the deck, maybe for blowing the grass clippings. That's about it. The hedge trimmer, I haven't got a chance to use those yet. I probably will in the next couple weeks. But anyway, like I said, this solid machine. No problem getting these branches. It didn't bind up. It bound up that one time. That was only because I don't have a tripod. I was trying to cut underneath the log, so underneath that big limb, so it was binding the blade, and I couldn't really get a good angle on it coming in from the top. But other than that, none of these other branches, it had no problem cutting through. It didn't bind up at all. It went real smooth. The blade speed may not be, comparable to some of your, bigger gas-powered ones, but, my father-in-law's got a Husqvarna pole saw, and for what he's using it for, it just will work just fine. I don't know that I would go spend the money on gas. I don't do a whole lot of limb work. I just trim these down. I've got a birch tree in the front yard. I trim that up a little bit, but they don't need any gas to sit around and get stale and get bad. So I throw about carburetors. You just keep this bar lubed up, keep the tension adjusted on it. Just the tension adjustment. You back this off a little bit, and then you can tighten and loosen this. And of course, this will tighten and loosen the bar and the chain. And then you just tighten it back down, and you're good to go. You want to check that periodically. I made the mistake of not checking it, and it slipped off of there while I was helping a neighbor cut some limbs from the storm. All right, anyway, guys, thanks for watching the video. If you have any suggestions about how I can make the videos better, let me know down in the comments. I appreciate the thumbs up, and have a good one.